in this past November. And so I'm a makeup artist with them. I don't have any makeup on today right now, but that's what
I thought they were two different brands. So
yeah, no.
Mascara is now Seant?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Good to know.
so we rebranded. So I'm with them. So I am familiar with the MLM. So I can understand about social selling and stuff. And that's why I do PD as well, because of that side job that I have.
Totally. I love
And
that.
that's it. Oh, and this book, I'm excited about this book because I just read chapter 1, and it is going to help me be working with my fear. So instead of trying to run from fear or hide from it, to learn to work with it, because I know it will show up in every level of my business. No matter how far I get, it's always going to show up.
Definitely. And where are you located? Are you out in Ontario?
Sorry, yes, I'm in Ontario.
Okay. Cool.
I'm not on the beach, but
I'm like, wow, you have a beautiful background.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, that's so nice. I'm so glad you're here with us, honestly. And PD, like if you join any MLM at all, right? Like they'll all be saying like one of your vital behaviors is PD, because I feel like it just keeps us going when we're feeling a little defeated or discouraging, because it is a very, like, you have to actually put a lot of effort to make it work, right? So it's like it'll work if you work, but you also have to have the right mindset too. So we love that you're here. Thank you, Shannon. And Carly, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit, that would be awesome.
Hi, I was invited to the group by Melanie.
Perfect.
I am not a Beachbody member. I have been in the past, like a long time ago. But
you can still sit with us, don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. I do own my own business though, and I have for the last 10 years. I am a commercial artist, so I do like branding and brand management for businesses. And I'm currently in the process of kind of like stopping that and switching gears so that I can make art and feed less capitalist concepts. So I didn't actually like have any idea what book club I was joining. I just sort of was like, yeah, I'll join, and then bought the book and was like, all right, this is intense. All right, I'm with it. So I'm excited to use it to help set boundaries for myself that I haven't been able to in the past with people, because I have dealt with a lot of abuse from people in my life in the past that I have spent the last year really working on, and I think this book is going to help. I'm also located in Medicine Hat.
Cool. I love that. We've got
I'm not a mom, but I have a whole bunch of animals. You can probably hear them. Sorry.
Okay. Well, we're so happy you're here, and that's so interesting. I love just the fact that you have that type of experience. You bring a different perspective to people, so that's really cool. Well, we're so glad you're here. And then Daniela, if you want to maybe just introduce yourself a little bit, you can.
Hi everyone. Sorry I was late.
Okay.
My name's Danielle. I am a Beachbody coach, and PD is one of the most important parts in my life now. I joined as a Beachbody coach 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, I think. And PD is probably the one thing that's changed my life within working that business. And I'm a mom of a 3-year-old little girl expecting my second, and I joined the book club. Sometimes I have a hard time holding myself accountable with personal development, just because I find myself so busy with trying to run my business, working part-time as an insurance broker, and then also momming. So I wanted to make myself accountable to actually get my pages read. And when I don't do personal development, I really notice myself, my mental health lacks when I don't do it. So I definitely wanted to make sure that I was reading my 10 pages a day or a chapter a week or whatever that may be. And then I love that there was prompts at the end of this book. So actually putting pen to paper and learning while you read was super important to me. So yeah.
I love that. And it was actually Danielle and my idea to do this book club. So her and I were on a call, and I'm like, I feel like everybody has everything else in the bag in terms of like everybody on our team, right? Like we wanted to open this up to everyone, but it was one thing that I felt like our team was kind of just like kind of slacking on, you know, like it's so easy to be like, I have 10 million other things to do today. Like I'm not going to read my book. You know, like I'll read my book when I'm like laying down relaxing, but then you lay down to relax and you fall asleep or whatever, right? Like you just get distracted. So this was our way of like cultivating that, just making it an important part of your day again, right? And just like once we get through this book, like maybe we'll do another one and we'll open it up to other people as well. So we'll see how this goes. This, like I said, I keep saying it because I am brand new at doing a book club. This is my first time ever hosting a book club, anything. So Corley, I might call on you a little bit because you've done this in the past, but I was thinking what we could start with is just go through the, she kind of gave like 5 steps to becoming a fear boss, right? One of them being to accomplish one thing for yourself at the beginning of the day. So I was thinking we could maybe all sort of take turns and go over what our morning routines are looking like right now, and maybe what you might want to switch up or start incorporating to make it a better morning for you. Who would like to start?
What? No, they're in the bathroom.
Start.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you get them in the jammies, please?
Muted you, Ash.
So usually in the morning, I'm such a creature of habit, and I have everything plugged in, my monitor, my cell phone, everything's plugged in next to my bed. And I find that has been so bad for me because I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is I pick up my phone to look at what's going on, especially being a social media business runner. I just always want to like look and see what I've missed or anything like that. So when reading this book, I said, well, maybe I'll try and start to plug my phone in away from myself. So in the morning when I wake up, instead, I have either my book or if I've picked out a podcast from the night before and I have to work, then I can run over to my phone, play that podcast in the morning while I'm getting ready. Another one of my favorite things to do, and I tell my daughter religiously every single morning, is my my morning dance. Like even if I'm not working out, I will always make sure that I have my little collagen water with my Energize and I get my dance in, and it's just something that really helps set the tone for my day. Whether I record it and I post it on social media or I just do it for myself, it's just something that I've always done with her while she's been growing up as well. Since she was small, we've just always been doing that. So that's definitely what I do for myself in the morning is I take that 10 to 15 minutes and get that little bit of movement in with my Energize. I've skipped out on the morning coffees. If I do have a coffee now because I'm pregnant, I will definitely have it in the afternoon when I feel super tired. But something new is going to be plugging my phone in away from myself. And that's going to be something that I do for me so that I can pick up something that's next to me that will benefit me instead of go down the rabbit hole of social media first thing when I wake up in the morning.
I love that, Danielle. That's such a good idea. And I'm the same. Like, I'm the worst at like, oh, my alarm goes off. Well, now it's in my hand. My phone's in my hand. And like, totally. Oh, look at all these notifications. Now I'm laying in bed for 45 minutes before I even get out of bed because I'm stuck on my phone, right? Like, it's so easy to do. So yeah, I loved that. Thank you, Danielle. Does anybody else want to go next? I could like call on people. I could go next. It doesn't matter.
I can go next if you want. I can go. Mine's kind of the same, like as Danielle's. I always read like personal development, and they say like you shouldn't pick up your phone first thing in the morning. You should do something productive. So I'm really bad for that too. It's funny that you say that because I have an old alarm clock somewhere, like an old-fashioned plug-in one. And I was like, I always need to bring my phone because like it's my alarm clock. But I was like, if I find this alarm clock, then I don't have an excuse and I could leave my phone upstairs. So kind of the same, but also because I work in the morning, I'm really bad for getting up last minute and pressing snooze. And then like I have to come right upstairs, jump right on my computer and start working. So I really want to try to get up like 30 minutes before I have to be on my computer and try to read or journal or even do like some yoga. Probably wouldn't work out. I usually do my workout at night. That's just me, but just something, not just like rushing to jump on my computer to start working. So waking up a little bit earlier to give myself that breather, and even Ryan will still be sleeping too. So that's kind of nice.
I love that. And you know what? It's funny you say that because like I'm sure you can actually like remember how different your day feels when you just like jump out of bed and go to the computer to work versus if you take that like, and it doesn't have to be much, you guys. Like it really doesn't have to be like this extensive routine. I'm about to tell you guys my routine, and I want you to know it does not have to be like this. Anything that works for you that allows you to feel like you've put yourself first thing in the morning is probably the best way to start it. So it does not have to be this like long extensive routine. I'm going to tell you guys what I do and you're going to be like, oh my God, I'll never do that, because it's a lot. But I should mention to those of you guys who don't know me, I actually lost a baby this year in a very horrific way. Like I was 18 weeks along, I had to give birth. It was awful. So I've had to do a lot of inner work to kind of like get through this season of my life. That was just 6 months ago. So the last 6 months for me has been a bit of a whirlwind, trying to keep myself stable emotionally and everything. So I do have a very extensive routine. And without that routine, like I just don't have a good day. So that's why I'm so like, I'm very, I have to do it or my whole day kind of feels weird. I actually didn't do half of my routine for 2 days and I feel okay. So I feel like I don't have to be as like strict about it anymore. But one thing that I will always make sure I do right when I first wake up is mix up my Energize. So just like Danielle, I don't know, Stevie, do you have Energize in the morning?
I don't know.
That's
I
okay.
just only use it strictly before I work out usually.
That's okay. I just enjoy it because it's not long after that I start to get that tingly sensation, and then I'm pressing play to a workout. So in between, I'll normally do a dance just like Danielle, and then I will read some of my book. And then as soon as like I'll start to feel it, it almost gives you this like feeling of itchiness in a way, for me at least. And when I start to feel a little bit itchy, I'm like, okay, it's time to move. I hop on my workout link, I press play for my workout, and I get to it. And then after my workout, I do a journaling session. I'll pull some cards for the day. So I'm actually very spiritual. I became extremely spiritual after losing my son, just to feel some sort of connection with him still. And for me, the pulling of the cards, it's almost like personal development. The messages you get from your spirit or angel guides or oracle, they're all beautiful messages that help you sort of understand where you're at in life right now, right? And who knows if it's actually like reading my energy or if it's just giving me food for thought, but either way, it helps my mindset. So that's kind of where mine goes. And then I also meditate. So that takes me I want to say an hour and a half at least, but I also prioritize that and wake up at like 6 in the morning so that I can get that done before my son's even awake. Right. So it all depends on like where you're at in life and what you think you need mentally to sort of get through your day. And for me, like the last 6 months, I needed that. But like I said, for the last couple of days, I haven't journaled, I haven't pulled cards, and like I feel okay. So it's funny how you can kind of go through waves with routines. There was a period there where I wasn't working out in the morning at all. I'm waiting for my son to go down for a nap, and I was just pulling cards and journaling and meditating. Either way, right? Like it set the tone for my day. So there's no right or wrong answer here, guys, is what I'm trying to say. It can be as simple or not. Like if it means you get up and brush your teeth every morning and you prioritize doing that, then that's great. But maybe adding like another layer of just self-care on top of that would really benefit you, just switching things up, right? Anyways, sorry, I'm chatty. If anyone else wants to go right ahead.
I am going to start adding something to my mornings, which is gratitude practice. So listing, I think I'm just going to start with one. So every morning list one thing when I wake up that I'm grateful for. and then start my day that way. And then I'm on the right foot in a positive frame of mind to continue through the day. So that, and I also am into cards. So I've done Oracle cards a lot, but I'm now recently into tarot cards. So I've started that. I'm almost finished a course actually. So I do a daily card pull too, and I'm going to start to do it in the morning, instead of doing it at midday. Like usually I'm doing it at lunch, but now that I don't have a commute, like Stevie, I work from home. So I had a long commute before. So I have all that time instead of just sleeping or longer or hitting my snooze, or setting my so many alarms. I'm going to make it more productive use of my time. I've decided. I've been thinking of it for a while. So that's what I'm going to do. Incorporate those two things.
Well, I would love for you to do that for like the whole next week. Like hold your own self accountable and like make sure you're doing that every single day. And then when we meet again, like you can tell us how you're feeling. I bet you're going to be feeling way better, right? Just overall. So I love that. Thank you, Shannon. Ashley or Corley, you guys want to tell me how your mornings go? And maybe what you might want to switch up and try something new?
I used to always just get up and like hustle like until I went to bed. That was my life for like 5 years. I paid off basically all of my student loans, but I was not feeling good. And so basically we completely changed our lives. Like we moved cities and ditched everything and started again just 2 hours over. And since then, it has been so different, but also COVID hit like less than a year later, which has been extremely challenging. So I have to like really focus in the daytime or else I come upstairs and I just work before I do anything. Like I wake up and I brush my teeth and I feed my dogs and then I sit down at my computer. So I've had to, over the past year, especially with the stress of like being self-employed in a time where visual art isn't a priority for all of these businesses that are like suffering. That means that I have fallen out of the bottom of a lot of different projects that were supposed to be secure for me. So it's been extremely stressful, which is part of why I'm changing directions. But anyway, my point being, my coping mechanism for the stress was just to try and work more. Like the harder I hustle, the more I could get, but it wasn't working because I wasn't being productive. So now I have to like slow down and remind myself. I like put lockers in my living room so that I put all my work stuff in there if I'm not using it, or in my office, which I should use, but I never do. So I have to like get up, wash my face, brush my teeth. I like do training exercises with my dogs and it helps them focus and it helps me focus. And then we're all like, we've woke up, we're alert, we're aware. And then I drink a cup of coffee and then sometimes I do tarot too. I've been reading tarot for like 5 years or so. And I can't tell you what it has gotten me through. Anytime I have like some pretty severe mental health stuff, and tarot has been like a lifesaver. When I'm super anxious, I like just have to like take over the mood of my house with like music and like burning incense and just like meditate and then read tarot. And I can't tell you how releasing it is for me and how much direction it gives me. And like Paige said, maybe it's all just whatever, but it helps me. And it really especially helps me figure out what I actually need when I can't sort out my thoughts because I'm interpreting it for myself, right? Anyway, so about once a week I do that in the morning. And then I try and journal, but I keep forgetting. Trying. And then I don't open my computer until like maybe 9, and then I check my email. And so the new thing that I'm trying to do is I have all these remaining clients that I'm kind of trying to ditch, but I also need the income from them until I do. It sounds shitty, but it is what it is. And instead of picking them up in the morning, I do my own work in the morning for my new projects. And that helps me focus on it without thinking about any piling up work from my other clients. because I used to do the client work first, and what it would do is it would leak all the way through my day and take over the time that I had to work on myself. So now I switch the priority so that I do myself stuff first and my client stuff after. And that's where I'm at. And I'm trying to make sure that I stay there.
I love how you're prioritizing like your changes and what's new, and like putting the things that you're trying to wrap up on the back burner so that you're keeping sort of your goals in the like forefront of your day, right? So that's amazing. I love that. And I love that you pull cards. See, and I truly believe that it's literally helped me through my loss. Like it really has. It's really helped me stay connected to spirit and angels and everything. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. But if you feel like you need a practice like that, you guys, like there's so many starter decks out there that make it super easy to follow, very light, airy messages. And that's really all they are. They're just messages. You interpret them how they feel for you. Like so I could read a card and Coralie could read a card, the exact same card, and it could hit us completely differently, right? So
Yeah.
I think that that's sort of the coolest part. But I love that, Coralie. Thank you so much. And then Ashley, if you want, you can tell us how your mornings go. All right, there you go.
With day home, some of my mornings kind of start with that because some of my parents are nurses. So some of them get dropped off at 6:30 in the morning, but I try like to set my alarm half an hour before so I can at least have time to drink my Energize and dance it out. Even if I don't get to the workout right away, there's mornings where I'll set up breakfast or an activity for my kids, and then I'll go work out while they're eating in the other room because like my trailer is very small, so I can see them and hear them always. Or like it just kind of depends on the day when I can actually get the workout in. Sometimes it's nap time if I have nappers. I'm in a weird like age group with my kids right now because half of them nap and half of them don't. So I'm trying to get that workout in first thing in the morning at like 6 a.m. before my kids show up. And I find it definitely keeps me more patient through the day and like able to juggle the chaos, especially today when I had 4 under 3. So I'm trying to prioritize that and not sit down for my morning coffee right away, because the minute I sit down, I'm like not getting up until my kids show up. And then I'm like, oh, I can't do it because my kids are here.
Yes. Oh, I remember day home life so well, Ashley. Oh my gosh. And it's long days, babe. So you're doing your best, and it's a hard job for sure. But I love that. And if you ever feel like hopping on the accountability Zoom with Courtney and I, like we meet around 6 a.m. most mornings. So if you need that like added layer of accountability, knowing that you're meeting us and you can hop on with us, then feel free to join us. I feel like anything like that, to like if you have an accountability buddy with anything, like if anyone's trying to like make something work, maybe Coralie, I don't know if you have anything like if you like affirmations at all, but I feel like if we like had like an accountability buddy within the group where we just sort of like all paired up and we each sort of sent each other an affirmation every morning of ourselves, like I am worthy, and then Shannon would like reply to me, I am strong, or something like that, you know, just like one thing to affirm every day. I feel like just like affirmations and like in themselves are very powerful as well for setting the tone for your day. So something to think about, right? Hi, Danielle.
Hi, sorry, I unmuted. I love that idea. I also love the idea of like jumping in the Fear is My Homeboy chat in the morning, and maybe we all like get assigned someone different each week and we give them an affirmation of what we think about them.
Oh, I love
because that would be really cool too. And then every morning, like we could assign someone each day, or just kind of go through it alphabetically or whatever, so that it's kind of easier. There's a lot of us in that group, but I think it would be nice to kind of like wake up in the morning and jump in the group. And if it's Paige's day, she would have 20 affirmations from 20 other women, and that could be a really nice start for her day, right?
That's super
so everybody
cute.
could get assigned a day. I think that would be really fun too.
That's a good way to keep that chat going too,
Yeah.
right? I love that. Okay, well, we'll discuss more of that. I think it'd be fun for us to start, like, if we're talking morning routines and we want to start helping each other foster that, why not, right? So that's
Absolutely.
awesome. Cool. So I guess we've all chatted about that piece. The self-love, or the create a love yourself mantra. I loved that, by the way. I already kind of have a mantra myself. I always just say that I am abundantly blessed, and every dollar I spend comes back to me in multiples. So I know that that sounds like, okay, Paige, but I like to affirm that anytime I spend my money, I can say to myself, it's coming back. Like, it's not like it's gone forever. You know, you're going to earn it again. It'll come back, right? Yes, that money I spent is gone forever, but money's an energy exchange, right? So I use that mantra myself. I am abundantly blessed is something that I literally start my day every morning saying, because my sort of like theme for 2021 was abundance and just living in an abundance mindset. So that's my mantra. I only said that to start things off because I already have one and it's just like fresh in my mind. So if anyone else wants to share a little mantra that they maybe tell themselves, or they look themselves in the mirror and say in the morning or whatever. And by the way, that is not weird. You need to have a pep talk with yourself in the mirror. It is not weird, you guys. It's actually very powerful. So anyways, I'll give you guys the floor. Anyone?
I wrote a few down.
Okay.
This is something that I don't do. And actually, as I was doing it, I just moved into my own new home. So I'm always trying to figure out ways that I can decorate my bedroom and like make it nice for myself. And I thought, oh, this would be really cute if I got like a few things on wood and like set them up in the morning so that I could read them to myself. But some of them are just like corny. But like, good morning, badass, go be a badass. And you are capable of success. So just get up and do it.
I love
And
that.
then this one, don't run scared, run the world, is not like, that one was my favorite. I was like, because you wake up in the morning and you have all these things on your to-do list, and sometimes it can be so overwhelming. And so you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. Sometimes you don't even start. And then the one under that was set intention. So with that going hand in hand, just setting intention for my day, reading that, and then going and not running scared, but actually getting this stuff done, then I could run the world. So.
Oh my gosh, those are so powerful, Danielle. I love those. Seriously, babe. I think that's a great idea to like actually make a cute sign like that. And
Yeah.
in your room, because why not, right? Something you will have as a reminder every day. I write mine on my mirror. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, sticky notes, like anywhere that you're gonna see it, right, is really nice. But that's awesome. Thanks, Danielle. Stevie, do you want to share?
I mean, I don't have like one specific, but I have tons of like pictures around my house with words or like mantras like that. Okay. When it rains, look for rainbows. When it's dark, look for stars. Like, I love stuff like that. So I have that all. But I actually really like this quote in the book. Like, I found that she writes like a lot of like quotes like that. And the one in the first chapter I really liked was there's nothing to fix, there are only things to be grateful for. So like, I love that. That was my favorite.
I love that so much.
Yeah, not always looking for something wrong, just being like grateful instead of like, oh, this is going wrong or that's going wrong. So I really like that
shift, hey, to like think of it that way instead of the other way. Like, we're so conditioned to be like, oh no, it's such a problem. Like, what a stressor. Oh my gosh, how am I ever gonna get through this, right?
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, that one was awesome. Well, you should take that one and write it on a sticky
note,
I know. To your laptop or something. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite things, is like reading all the little quotes in between. Like, there's some good ones so far.
Totally.
So, yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Anybody else? Thanks, Stevie.
Yeah.
I have to go put my little one to bed.
Okay.
Okay.
That's an
Sorry.
amazing mantra. It's true.
It's driving me crazy.
Literal mantra of every single day till the day we die. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for hopping on, babe. I hope you have a good night.
Have a
You
good night.
too.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, maybe Shannon or Corley can share a mantra if they want.
Oh, you want to go first, Corley?
I mean, sure. Sorry, I was trying to figure out how to
Okay.
unmute it for like 5 minutes. I was just gonna say, I really like vision boards. So I haven't had one since we moved, but I need to make a new one because I find vision boards are wild. Like if I used to make them like every 2 months maybe and just like change what my goals were and what my things, weird shit happened, right? Like I took out a clipping from a magazine that said Just Right. And 6 months later, I was eating a cereal called Just Right every morning. And I just really like think that you can like accidentally manifest things even if you don't mean to. So I try
Yeah.
really hard to be careful what I surround myself in. So I don't have any like sayings except one on the wall that I made over there that just says be kind to people, because sometimes I get really frustrated and forget to like be patient. And it's also for other people too. Like I don't want them to come into my house and be jerks. So it's just there for everyone. And I've thought about writing on the mirror too. I just haven't yet.
Well, maybe when we start doing the affirmations, the ones that we all send to you, you could write on your mirror.
Yeah.
Right?
There's one quote I liked from the book too, from like the second last page of the chapter. It was actually from the preface, I think. And it just said, you'll learn who should and should not be invited into your life party. And I've been doing a lot of that lately.
Oh yes, yeah.
Like a lot.
I have
Just
like this
like-
bouncer at my door now. Hey, it's just like, no, you are like interrupting my energetic field right now. You be gone with yourself.
That is where I'm at, dude. I'm like, I ditched a sister-in-law. Not easy.
Oh,
But it was like the best move I've made after like 10 years of like horrifying like boundary crossing no matter what I did. So I guess I lost a few niece and nephews and a brother through it for the most part, but you can't allow people to abuse you just because they want to be a part of your life.
Oh,
So,
I totally agree with you.
Me.
And honestly, until this year, like I know this sounds so bad, but like I didn't even understand what a boundary was. Like
No.
I understood like out of bounds and like I knew what a boundary was.
Me
but
either.
until
People used to
this year,
yeah.
I didn't know. And like
Only-
I'm one of those people that is like such a people pleaser, and I'll like go out of my way to please people to make my own self miserable. Like it's awful. And I literally went through that for so long. And then I'd like bitch about it to people who I actually cared about.
Yeah.
And then it would like affect them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to stop
And
allowing this person to give me something to bitch about all the time. Do you know what I mean? So
I'm the them that everybody brought it to in my life. I never told anybody. I never told anybody any of my issues, but I was constantly getting unloaded on by so many people from so many different places in my life. And I'm not like a friends group person. Like I'm a one-on-one person. So I have friends, but none of them know each other. And they all think that like them and I have this special connection that I don't have with anyone else. And I'm like, no, none of you are special. Like we're all like, I don't have my entire life to give to you just because you don't know my other friends. So I had to like really, really, really work hard. And there were people who were so, and still are so angry at me. Like, I have a friend who moved to Ontario and she wants to phone me 4 times a day and just talk to me about her kid. And I love her and I love her kid, but I don't have the energy or the time because she doesn't have anyone else. It's not my burden. So I'll talk to her and I'll visit with her, but I'm not the one who can help her. She needs to get a therapist. And setting those kind of boundaries has been extremely difficult, but it's gonna be worth it.
It is. And like just sticking to your guns with it too is super helpful, right? Like
Yeah.
it's one thing to like place a boundary there, but then like most people will try to like break through that boundary. And
Yeah.
that's like definitely disrespectful, but they don't realize how disrespectful that is because that's your boundary. It's not theirs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then,
yeah.
and then it like, it bothers you even more to the point where you're just like, leave me the hell alone. You know what I mean? But it's true. Like you become like almost mad at this person because you've like placed this weird boundary here. And now it's like, okay, you're not respecting it. And now I'm pissed.
That's what happened with my sister-in-law.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Except I like, it was like 7 years of buildup and then one really big blow up. But it was also 7 years of me putting up very bold boundaries, asking a therapist for help with it, like, and them just being continually plowed through with no respect whatsoever. So
Right.
I literally haven't seen most of my family for 2 years because of this. And it is what it is. And as much as it sucks, I'm in a better place than I was because of it.
Right.
But
Well,
it's best if you don't leave it until that point. But I still don't know what else would have happened if she hadn't finally gotten mad at me.
I think that's sort of how it has to be sometimes almost because like if somebody's not respecting the boundary, it's like, okay, then like there really needs to be something done here. You know what I mean? Like it's not just like it's almost like this big blow up needs to happen for them to understand like sort of where everything stands almost, right? But hopefully like I'm sure through everything we learn from it, right? Like, oh, could I have maybe handled that differently? Could I have maybe
I mean, I apologize,
right?
But I don't regret it.
It's all an experience at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for that, Coralie.
Yeah.
Shannon, did you want to share? All right, wait, yeah, have you shared? No, you didn't share about this yet.
No, but I can.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I liked from I like these little quotes she puts in the book too, like not quotes, but little phrases and then like writes them in that fancy font. So the one for me that's big is because I have a lot of issues with like with believing in myself and self-worth and worthiness. I love the one on page 9. And she says, you are enough, you were born ready, and you have more power than you realize. And that's like really important because it's basically like you are you, like you're the special sauce kind of thing, right? So like even, you know, when you're doing something and you're sharing about your product or something, like you guys in Beachbody can relate to, they're not wanting to buy the Beachbody product, they're wanting to support you, right? So it's now about like when you're posting and sharing on social media in any kind of business zone, you have to build that trust factor and stuff and share about you, and you have that, and every one of us on here and in our group has that special sauce, and it's them, right? And that's what's going to make you successful. So just for me, believing that about myself is the big thing, and I think that's what's has been holding me back, because I know I can do it, and I'm like, hey. And then right when I think of the success factor, that I draw back, and I'm like, is this really what, like, do I deserve the success and stuff? And I question that, and it took me a while to figure that out, but I've been seeing changes in my stuff recently and like getting a bigger following, etc. So I'm on the right path. So this is just like going to help with that. Like this book, I can see already just from reading the first chapter, I was like, oh my gosh, this book's gonna like help me.
Yeah, it's like, where have you been all my life? I needed to hear that, right? Like so powerful too, that like it's true. Like we are enough just as we are. We don't need to change nothing about us. You know, like we don't need to look like the person next door. We don't, you know, like what makes us special is that we are us. And the more you share about who you are, the more people who are more like you will be attracted to that and like be interested in what you're sharing and telling about, right? So I love that so much. Thank you so much for that, Shannon. Well, I don't know what's next. Is it something about how you'd recover if something went wrong? I feel like this one is a little bit like, does anyone else feel like it's loaded? I guess we could like scenario something. she kind of said, because like, I love how Stevie brought up the fact that like any mistake can be a gift or whatever. What was it? It's any mistake you make can be a gift to you or a gratitude, something.
This quote that I read out of here.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Something
Yeah.
like that, right? Or am I completely off base?
I was like, no. The one that I read out of here was don't fix. Oh, there's nothing to fix. There are only things to be grateful for.
That's exactly what it is. So
Yeah.
like there's so many things in our lives right now. I'm sure we can name a few that like we want to fix. For example, like I want to move out of this house, just as an example. Right? Like I need a new home, I need a new space, but like this space is perfectly fine. Like it really is. There's really nothing wrong with it. It's just like sort of how it's laid out. I'm not a huge fan of, but like it's livable, it's comfortable, it's, you know, like we've made it our home, we've made it our own. So just like that, right? Like, is there something in your life right now that you could maybe say that you kind of are almost living in like a lack mentality with this thing? Maybe it's your car, maybe you want to upgrade your vehicle or something, and you're realizing like it gets me from A to B, like it doesn't need to be fancy. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of sort of what I'm getting at. So if anyone else wants to share something, they can, if you want.
One of my biggest worries right now is we want to do so many renovations with this house. We just finished replacing our kitchen floors, and we want to renovate the rest of the floors in the house before the baby comes. And then I feel like I'm able to start everything. But with going on maternity leave in June, we have obviously our nice little savings account that we like to sit on and just keep it as is. But there's a lot of things, and your mantra that you mentioned, which I loved, Paige, there's a lot of things that we want to do. And it's just, of course, money is always a factor in life. It's always going to be a factor. And there's just something unsettling about making all of these renovations right before I have a new baby coming and everything like that. So the mantra that you said earlier about how every penny you spend will come back to you, it does make me truly believe, like, even though I'll be on maternity leave, I will be focusing so much more on my business, and I will be putting, my best foot forward and making sure that I am successful for myself and my family, and so that we have this like extraordinary life. So that's one of my biggest worries. But then this quote that I saw in the book, that's what I thought about. And then this little blurb that I underlined or starred, it says, "The perfect time to do anything is always right now." So I loved that. And I can apply that to like a million different things in my life, to my business, to renovations, to anything. And
Your
sometimes we
surprise
get
pregnancy, even like,
my surprise pregnancy,
right? Like,
anything. And it's like something that you will always be worried to pull the trigger on something, but unless you pull the trigger, like, you'll never really find out where it's going to get you. And it could bring you happiness, right? So you never know.
totally. And the worst thing that can happen is you're not Ash is back. The worst thing that can happen is it doesn't work out, right? Like, at least
Absolutely.
you tried, right? I feel like, and I hope that this book, like, I'm trying to get this vibe too, that this book is basically saying, like, you could literally do anything if you decided you wanted to, right? Yeah. Like, that's the theme I'm getting here. I don't know if, I think Corley does. I'm not sure if Shannon does, but I made a post of me like doing a headstand the other day, and like how not even a year ago I couldn't even do that, and I had like told myself that I could never do that. Like I was like, I would see other people do it, and I'd be like, I could never freaking do that. And here I am, not even a year later, doing it and doing like different movements with it and like really playing around with it. And I feel like had I just stayed small and been like, I can't do that, I'm not even going to try, right? Like I wouldn't be doing all these fun things with my upside down, right? So I just feel like, yeah, it's time that we start to really believe in what our bodies and minds are capable of, because it's a lot. Like you guys, like Steve, like I know he's gone, but Steve Jobs, like he was just a regular guy that had some cool ideas, you know what I mean? Like, and look what happened to his life. So we have to start believing that we have the same type of mindset as him, right? So yeah, that's actually, we were just sharing like how we're living in, how there's so many things that we already have that we like want to change because it's like not good enough, and that we're kind of talking about how everything that you sorry, I'm lost here because Stevie keeps saying it properly and I keep losing how she put it, but it's basically everything's a gift. That's a I want to say mistake, but it's not mistake, and that's where I keep going.
Nothing needs to be fixed.
Nothing needs to be fixed. Sorry, Stevie.
I keep forgetting it too when you.
If somebody else remembers, just go ahead.
Nothing to fix. There are only things to be grateful for.
Okay, yes. There's nothing to fix, only things to be grateful for. So basically appreciating what you have in this present moment, be grateful for it, right? Yeah. There's nothing to be fixed, only to be grateful for. If anyone else wants to share something to do with that, it doesn't have to be like, I feel like this one's more open-ended. You could kind of talk about anything.
When you're reading it, like that whole paragraph kind of is like when you look in the mirror, like you only see things that are wrong. Like you're like, oh, I hate my nose. Or like when I was looking in the mirror, I hated my bottom teeth. So I actually just went and got the Invisalign. And I was actually like comparing it to that because that's all I would see when I looked in the mirror. Like my teeth look crooked. And it's bothered me for so long. But then other people are like, oh, I didn't even know you had crooked teeth. But that's like all I would see. And that's why I got the Invisalign actually. So I was like, it just really related me to that. When I was like in the mirror, I wasn't seeing like the good. I would just always see like only good. So it really made me like relate to that.
So easy to pick apart your flaws and forget about make us beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So easy.
It's so true. Yeah, like you have to look past like the flaws.
Definitely.
Yeah, I've had that sort of the opposite experience in a way, in regards to needing to be okay with my own reality and not constantly telling myself that I'm not allowed to feel how I feel because I have it so much better than so many other people. So I have all these like super real experiences and super real feelings, but every time I feel upset, I'm like, no, I'm not allowed to be upset because I live in Canada and I'm white and I'm like, I have so much more than other people. So I've been really struggling with the past year with my own privilege and like figuring out how to navigate a world where I feel guilty for like feeling things. Does that make sense?
It does. I get where you're going with that. But you have to remember, so I'm just gonna bring up like, I'm just gonna say, because she's probably gonna watch this anyways. But Mel and I, you know Mel, we both experienced a miscarriage this year. She experienced a miscarriage at like, I want to say she was maybe 4 or 5 weeks along, very early, but still a huge loss in her life, right? And then I experienced my 18-week miscarriage, and it's still a serious loss in my life. Those two situations are the exact same. It doesn't matter how much longer I was pregnant, the fact that I was able to see my kid, the fact that I was able to know the gender. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. She still lost a baby, right? It doesn't matter. So at the same time, what I'm saying, because to go with what you're saying here, Courtney, like you're saying like, oh, I'm privileged, like none of my problems matter because I live in Canada. That would be like Mel saying, well, my miscarriage doesn't matter because Paige went 18 weeks and lost her baby.
Yeah, right? Well, and I can like see it. It's just hard to like.
No, I know, but I'm telling you, like, I can see where you're going with that, but I want you to try to remember that we are human beings and there's going to be things that happen in every person's life. Nobody's life is perfect. And there's going to be situations where like you are in pain, or you're in emotional pain or physical pain or in chronic pain. And like, you do have it worse than your neighbor maybe. And it is okay to feel sorry for yourself. It is okay to sit there and be like, damn, this sucks. And I live in Canada and I have free will, and it still sucks that I'm in this situation. Right. So I think maybe life is just going pretty good for you right now. Could I assume that, besides the whole like trying to switch into something new and like, do you know what I mean? Do you have like, could you name to me a bunch of things that are like going wrong in your life? Right? You don't have to. Like, I'm just saying, like, is there tons of stuff going on in your life right now, or do you feel like you're in a good place?
No, it's not good.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, then you can be okay with being okay. Like, you can sit with yourself in those feelings. They're real and they're valid. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want you to feel like you can't.
Yeah, that's been my biggest struggle this past year, has been like trying to be okay with my own personal, like I have like been self-sabotaging based on feeling guilty for feeling bad when there's so many people that have such worse shit. Do you know what I mean? I see it. I see what I'm doing is like destructive, but I'm like, that's part of why I'm like excited about the book too, actually, now that I see it, is because I'm hoping to like stop that. Because I can tell my friends have issues and I'm like, stop it, you know better, but I can't tell myself that. Like,
it's easy to preach, but it's hard to take your own advice. And I think that that's part of being just like a compassionate and, you know, decent human being, is like, I don't ever want to outpour my issues that maybe aren't as significant as somebody else's that's going through something more. But at the same time, you have to go back into your mind and think, why isn't it as significant as your problem? Do you know what I mean? Like, it may not be, I may not have experienced loss this year, but I'm struggling with something else. Do you know what I mean? And it's still just as valid. And I think that just part of being, you know, like a decent, compassionate, loving human, sometimes we all can get in our own heads and be like, okay, I need to keep my mouth quiet right now because this person deserves the attention, but you deserve the attention just as much. So it's something that I think everybody struggles with.
And it's only so long that you can be somebody else's therapist, right? Like, and it's true. Like, if you find that you're filling too many people's cups around you and you're not taking the time to like fill your own, it can feel like your shit doesn't matter. Honestly, it can really feel that way.
And that's how the whole ditching 90% of my life context started. Was being that person for there was just too much damage done by allowing myself to be that person for so long that people weren't willing to adjust as I learned and grew. And if they can't keep up, then they gotta go, because
yeah, I totally get that. But hopefully your mindset behind all of that will sort of like develop a little bit while you read this book. I have a feeling it will. So
yeah, I'm hoping so.
It's good that you admitted that, because now at least, like, not admitted that, but it's good that you shared that, because now you can be mindful of that, right? And we can sort of support that in such a way that might help you.
Totally. And who knows, through your growth, throughout reading this book, or throughout your growth with, you know, eliminating kind of those toxic people from your life and them seeing how much it'll change you and how much happier you'll be, they might actually be like, ding, light bulb, maybe I shouldn't have been that way towards her. Look how healthy she is now. And then they might start to change themselves as well. So you never know where it could go. As long as you're doing things that benefit yourself, I think that's the only part that matters.
Yes. And I didn't mean to like be like, yo, we both lost a baby, but I was just trying to like put it in, because that was like the first thing that popped in my mind, because I was like, because there's been times that Mel has literally said to me, like, you had it way worse, and like, and it's like, but no, babe, it's still a great loss in your life regardless. Like, Ashley could attest to that, because you've had a couple of losses, right, Ashley? And you weren't 4. Yeah, so I've had 2. Yeah, so you guys, you know, like, it's still the loss of something that you thought was going to happen, right? And that's a huge deal. And you, like, as moms, like, I feel like Shannon, are you a mom?
Sorry, I was muted.
That's okay.
No, I'm not a mom.
Okay.
I sometimes wish I was, but I'm not.
No,
I
fair.
am an aunt though,
Oh, there you
and I'm a
go.
really great aunt, and I love my niece and nephew to bits. So yeah.
Love
Oh,
that.
that's amazing. I'm sure you are such a great aunt. I was just wondering because, like, even regardless of if you've been pregnant or had a loss or are a mom, like the moment you see those two lines or whatever on a stick, like your whole world changes. And then like it just feels so weird when like it doesn't go where you wanted it to go, basically, right? Like it just feels like it leaves this empty hole inside of you. So like it, regardless of how far along you are or not, like you had a positive pregnancy test and you didn't bring that baby home, right? So it's just like that's where it gets really heavy, right? So anyways, that's sort of I find it, I honestly, I've had a really hard time not bringing up my loss and using it as like examples for things because it's still very fresh in my mind. So I do apologize. It's,
Don't apologize.
well, thank you. I don't know. I never know how other people are like receiving sort of how I talk about it. So I'm still learning sort of how to deal with it myself. So,
You're doing great, babe.
oh, thank you. I appreciate that. If Shannon or Ashley,
I just wanted to say thank you for being so open and vulnerable. Like it's very inspiring, and thank you for sharing that. And I can't even imagine for those of you who have lost, a pregnancy. My heart goes out to you. Like I couldn't even imagine. So
thank you. I appreciate that a lot, Shannon. And I know we all do. Because yeah, I feel like majority of us have experienced a loss. So um, little butterfly babies for sure. But Ashley, is there anything you wanted to share at all about like, I don't know, is there anything that you kind of wish you had more of that you kind of have like it good enough right now sort of thing? Do you know what I mean?
Well, this past, my entire life, I've dealt with a mom who's struggled with addiction really, really bad. And it's affected my family really bad. I want to say like when I was younger, it was bad. It like social services bad. Me and my sister ended up in foster care and that kind of thing. But she kind of got better. She went to rehab. She did the things she was supposed to do at the time. She's a manipulative person, so she'll do what she needs when she's backed into a corner. She's real good about putting on this like, oh look, I got sober, give me my kids back. So she did that like my whole life. And I moved out at 16 and I have not looked back since. But we had issues around the time of my wedding between her and I because I was in contact with my sister who doesn't speak to her because of these issues. And then we sorted through that and it was okay. I felt like we were getting to a really good place, like so much so that I got 2 tattoos with my mom and we match. I thought she was sober. And then this summer I found out she hasn't been sober. She hasn't been sober in years. And I had no idea because I don't live there. And she's always lived out of town. So again, she can put on that real good face when I'm around. And finally, it started to affect my family and my marriage and my son because he is getting to that age now where he's recognizing grandparents and aunts and uncles. And she's so in and out of it and not stable and not safe. So I was like, okay, like in September, I said, no more. Like, you can't come to my house. You will not be my son's grandma until you go get yourself some help. And it was feeling like I could, like, I'm like, okay, I'm getting past this. It is what it is. She's who she is. And I just need to take care of me and my family. And then I've been getting all these messages from other people about the trouble she's gotten into. And now it's affecting my younger brother and sister who are still minors who live in her home. So it was like kind of like ripping that Band-Aid off all over again. And I'm trying to juggle 14-hour work days
Mm-hmm.
while like trying not to fall apart and like trying not to let Brantley see me cry, and like trying to just be like, okay, she is who she is. She has an issue. I can't fix her. She has to go get help herself. But at the same time, like I'm having a really hard time not implanting myself in that situation because I'm concerned about my brother and sister.
Fair enough.
And all these people know what my mom is up to, and I'm the only one saying anything. And then it's like I ask them to back me up and help me so that I can help my brother and sister. And everyone's like, oh, no, I don't want to help you now. But you're so strong. You got this. Okay.
Didn't you have custody of your sister once upon a time? Or weren't you trying to get custody of her?
I've been trying for a long time.
Okay, so it never
since I
actually
turned
happened, huh?
18. Social services is just a really broken system. I'm finding it really difficult because it depends who you talk to.
Mm-hmm.
I finally this week, because I've been up their ass, I've been calling them all the time. I'm like, I'm going to call you until you do something. I won't leave you alone. Sorry. I'm going to be that annoying family member.
Mm-hmm.
And the last person I talked to, she kind of gave me that like, well, your brother and sister are teenagers. I'm like, yeah. Uh-huh. And your point is what? They're still children. As a mom, I would never let, whether my kid's 2 or my kid's 18, you still don't want your children mistreated.
Oh.
Right? And like I grew up raising them, so they feel like partially mine. So it's like I'm trying to, like, at least they're not babies.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep just trying to tell myself that like they're grown, they can tell me if it's really bad. But
They
at the
can,
same
like,
time,
sort of take care of themselves at that age. Because how old are they?
14 and 17.
Yeah, so they're at an age where they can probably, like, obviously it's not ideal.
Yeah.
But they're at least, yeah, like you said, they're not babies, so like you're not worried about like, are they getting bottles, are they, like, are they getting changed? I'm sure that's been things you've worried about in the past, but right now in this moment, like, you don't have to worry. Like, they're potty trained, they're good, right?
Yeah.
But still very unfortunate, babe, like that you even have
It's just,
to be dealing
it's like one of those things where like I keep telling myself like it could be worse. It could be like when me and my sister were little.
Mhm.
And but at the same time, like it still feels really shitty. Like even though thank goodness they're not babies, it's still, I don't know, like I'm almost grieving losing a relationship with my mom, even though it wasn't a good one.
Mhm.
And like she's still there. That's the worst part, is she's still there and I could reach out to her if I wanted to. But I keep telling myself like it's just not healthy. It's not healthy. Just leave it. Thankfully, my brother and sister have their own phones and I can just talk to them directly.
Oh, good.
And I've been going through my stepdad to be able to see them. But there again, like then I'm getting these messages and I'm trying to get their dad to step up and be a parent. And it's like, why is nobody doing the hard things?
Yeah.
Like it's always just me doing all these hard things.
You're the parent in the situation. It's clear that that's
right.
Yeah, definitely.
And I keep like telling myself like it could be worse. It could be. They could be babies, like.
Well,
but
I love to get through that, babe, because I know that can't be an easy thing to be going through at all, especially with everything else going on. So you'll have to keep us updated on how that all goes. And if
I meet with the social worker on Monday.
Okay. And your brother, he's 17?
Yeah.
Why can't he live with you? Isn't it like once they're 16, they can live wherever they want?
Because, well, it gets complicated because my stepdad's not biologically his dad.
Oh. Okay.
His dad has never been in the picture. But because my stepdad's been there since.
On that?
Dan technically has signed off on legal documents when it comes to my brother. So I think he legally has rights.
Okay.
And because my stepdad is not an addict, he's just not the most motivated person to do the hard things. they keep looking to him and
Like
going,
he has
well, like,
behavior so he can like, yeah. Isn't that so
well,
silly?
he can take the kids. Well, he can do this. And I'm like, okay, but he's not. So if he's not doing it, will you just give them to me?
Mm-hmm.
So that, like, I have no problem saying no to my mom that she can't see her kids till she gets well.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas he doesn't say no to my mom. That's why they still live with my mom. So it's like one of those things where, like, I get really sad about it. And I keep telling myself it could be worse. But at the same time, like, there's so many other things that still feel just as bad as they
Well,
did when I was a kid.
I will say though, like the universe does have your back. And if you start manifesting having those kids in your custody, they will get into your custody, because the universe works in like such beautiful ways in terms of like when it comes to like the greatest love for everyone in the situation, the greatest good for everyone in the situation, the universe delivers. And I know that that sounds like, okay, Paige, but I'm being serious, you guys. Like the universe will deliver if it's like if it's good for everybody in the situation and there's a problem that needs to be solved, you can always manifest it. So I would start like maybe when you journal in the mornings, manifest like, I want my brother and sister in my custody. My brother and sister will be in my custody. You could even put a deadline on what date you want them in your custody. Don't be like tomorrow, maybe be like 6 months from now. But if you manifest that every day, you could get closer to that either way, right? So,
well, it was funny because I was really bummed out about the social worker not listening to me and not feeling heard, and all these people just backing out on me and just going, oh no, you got this by yourself, because I don't want anything to do with it. I had posted something about addiction and being the child of an addict. And one of the ladies I used to work with at the daycare reached out to me. She's now a social worker. She knows I have siblings. And now she's taken over my brother and sister's case. And she's taking it far more serious and actually investigating it.
good.
So that's why I'm meeting with her on Monday. But it was funny timing, because I never used to post anything about being a child of an addict because I was worried about hurting my mom's feelings. And now that I don't have her on my social media or in my life, I posted that one thing, and it led to like a discussion with, hopefully, fingers crossed, the right social worker this time. So thankfully I'm going to meet with them Monday, and I'm hoping from there we can at least get the ball rolling in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they don't think my house is big enough for the two kids, if they can at least just be involved as that extra
Definitely.
help in some shape, way, or form. But this weekend, my goal is to try to get a hold of my mom's new address, because they can't do anything without a new address, and she moved. So, but I'm trying to like focus on like, okay, they're teenagers, actually, like at least they can speak up.
Totally.
And they have started reaching out to me, and I just keep like sending them messages all the time, like, I'm here for you and I love you and you can tell me anything, without like, is mom being awful? Like, instead of always, like, I don't want to sound like I'm always harping on their mom.
Yeah, no, it's good that it's just, like one thing that you should be excited about is that they have you. Like, imagine if you weren't in the picture, Ashley.
Right? Like, they would be in foster care.
Totally. So just
Right.
just be grateful that you exist, because like that should just be an added layer of what makes you a special human being on this earth. It's just like the fact that you are that for them, because they don't have that from your mom, right? So well, thank you for sharing that, babe. I hope that in no time they are with you, and you guys can start taking steps in the right direction, because that would just be very nice for sure.
I definitely feel a lot more positive since touching base with a new social worker. Because last week it felt really heavy last week. Like, I took like a mental health day from day home. But that mental health day was exactly what I needed though, because then I had posted that one thing that reached that one social worker that I needed, which I didn't even know she was a worker.
Right.
So I was like, okay, no, this is good. We're getting there slowly.
Yep. I don't even know. I feel like the fourth topic is go on a vacation once a year.
I wish.
I just don't know if that's something we can do right now, but like even just like a little getaway, you know, like I'm really craving like a completely unplugged getaway because they're super nice. Like leaving my phone at home kind of getaway would be great.
It does say like booking a cute like Airbnb or a bed and breakfast.
Yeah,
or,
and go
you
for
know,
like a
just
little staycation. Yeah,
just
exactly.
for yourself. And like, I don't know, that's such a good freaking idea. Like
Yeah,
just like booking a hotel room and like ordering room service and
totally.
eating your feelings one night and just, you know,
Yeah.
just such a good feeling. If you can't go on a vacation with yourself.
I feel like we could all use that a little bit in our lives. I
Mhm.
feel like we just don't do enough of that for ourselves. So, what about
Actually,
you,
next
Carly?
month, my husband and I are going to take off camping for his 30th birthday.
Nice.
And we pick somewhere with no cell reception
Oh, good. That's
for
perfect.
4 whole days.
Love
So
that.
I'm
Awesome.
I'm excited.
My
Mhm.
version
awesome.
of that lately is taking my dogs for really long walks without my phone.
Yes.
Or at least I have it on airplane mode and I go for like hours and just hang out like in the parks at the river. Just nobody can get a hold of me. It's amazing.
So good for your mental
Amazing.
health too. And it's amazing like where your mind can wander when you're not focused on something else.
Yeah.
How many good ideas you can get when you're not focused on something else. You know what I mean?
So true.
That's
And
awesome.
I honestly do, like if I'm feeling like, you know, when you have like writer's block for like a post or like you know where you want to go with something but you just can't quite figure it out and like you're just like racking your brain about something, I'll literally like unplug and go for a walk and just like clear my head and like clear the clutter in my head and come back and you're like instantly inspired. It's crazy. And I'm sure Corley, as like an artist, I'm sure you feel
Yeah.
like way more inspired after.
Absolutely. And also when I do tarot, it really serves like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
By like completely shutting everything. Sometimes I just take it with me and do it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. I
So
love
helpful.
that. I've never thought about doing that, but that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Definitely. Cool. Well, I feel like we did a lot of chatting tonight about some ideas. Maybe we could just wrap up and say one thing that we're going to treat ourselves to this week. Like whether that be like brunch with a girlfriend, getting your toes done, something that you're going to treat yourself to this week outside of the house. That you don't normally do, that you've been putting off, that you've been, you know, like let's all just say one thing. I really need to get my toes done. I'll just say that much.
I need my toes done too, but I think I'll get my eyebrows done first.
Yay. Anybody?
Massage.
Yes.
Oh, I need one of those too.
I just
Yes.
got my benefits, so I think I'm gonna try to go soon.
Good idea. Yes, go take advantage of those benefits, babe.
Yeah.
Ashley?
My husband was the sweetest man this week. He came home after working a full night shift because he goes back and forth at the Reman between days and nights.
Right.
He brought me home coffee and
Mhm.
roses because I was having a really tough week with my mom's stuff.
Right.
And he called Danica and planned for me to go there for the night on Saturday. And he's going to take our son so I can have a night off.
Yay, mama.
That'll be awesome. Yes,
I'm
enjoy
excited.
that. Bring face
I have
masks,
not.
girly stuff.
Yeah, like just have wine and
Yeah.
just be like outside of my head and outside of my 4 walls for a little bit because I have not been away from Brantley. Oh, I don't remember. Like last year, the year before that.
Yeah, no,
you know, before COVID.
You'll feel so
Yeah.
good after too, and it'll give you that chance to like miss him like crazy. Like even today, I was away from Caleb for like 4 hours. He was at my mom's house, and I was like dying to see him after. It was stupid. Caleb, you don't even want to give me a hug. He's like in this phase right now where he's just way more focused on playing, and I'm like, come give mommy a hug, and he's just looking at me like, hi mom. I'm
It's like, what
"Oh,
do you want?
you're too cool for me. What about you, Corley? What are you gonna treat yourself to?
Okay, well, I had plans this weekend. I was registered for like a clay course at the Medelta,
Oh,
and
nice.
then they all got canceled.
Oh no.
So my friend who was gonna take it with me is coming anyway. Don't tell the government. And we're gonna like just like bake and hang out on the deck. And I just built a dog run so that I can reclaim my backyard. And I am way more excited about that than
That's
so
awesome.
yeah.
My girlfriend, I don't know, when you say clay course, is it like pottery or like what do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, my girlfriend is super into that stuff as well, and she lives in Calgary, and I don't know if you could do it from Medicine Hat, but she actually signed up for a class online and they sent everything to her house, and then she was able to do it from her house. So if you want, I can check and see what that's all about. Maybe you and your girlfriend could do that.
Yeah, but like, do you know anything? I guess send it to me. I'll read the
It's
description.
just like a make your own pottery thing. I'm assuming. I don't know if it's like.
Okay.
I know
That's kind of
sometimes you
cool
have
though
to
to
like
look into.
Yeah, for sure.
It sounded pretty cool. Like to me, when I don't know, the last time I did anything with clay, I thought you had to put it in like a really hot
That's
thing.
that's actually like 80% of the reason I signed up for the course is because I just moved here and I've done clay before, but I want to get like in and figure out how to fire my stuff.
Yeah.
Have you there's I think it's downtown. It's called Paint of Interest. She has a Facebook page. She's here in town and you can go pick up kits. She'll give you paintbrushes, the proper acrylic paint. You pick whatever it is you want to paint. I know it's not clay, but like little figurines or whatever you want. And then you bring it back to her after and she fires it for you because she can't do the classes because of COVID.
Oh,
So
it's like Color Me
something
Mine.
else for you too.
I used to go to Color Me Mine all the time in Lethbridge,
Yeah.
like a child, and sit there for like a whole day and just
Oh,
paint.
I love that place.
I was so my
Actually,
husband's like, we don't need any more cups with forests and deserts on them.
Yeah, I made my son a piggy bank, like a little owl piggy bank.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
Actually, that was one of the happier like memories that I have of my mom.
Aw,
Is
doing
that's
that.
what we used to do because she was allowed to leave her rehab during the day during certain hours. And I lived with my dad at the time. We all lived in Calgary. So he would drop me off there and her and I would paint for the afternoon.
Aw,
And then he'd pick me back up and she'd go back to her rehab. But
so
it was
cute.
it was one of those like corny, like I actually still have all the things we painted. And I
Those
totally
memories are
use
nice.
them underneath my warmers, like because I sell Scentsy.
Yeah.
So I use them as little plates under my warmers in case I spill my wax.
Oh, that's cute. I love
And I still have
that.
like all the ones that we made when I was like 12.
Wait, you sell Scentsy and you live in Medicine Hat?
Yeah.
Hey,
We're gonna chat.
Okay.
There we go. I love that. Oh my god.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah, Corley, it sounds like you could even just bring, like, I wonder if you could call that place and be like, hey, if I brought you like something clay, would you fire it for me?
Yeah,
But you
yeah.
actually wanted to do it yourself though, right? Like you
Yeah.
wanted to go in and learn how to do it.
I mean, I've done. I got married a few years ago and I made all my own. I had no idea what I was doing, but I made all my own napkin rings for like the ceremony out
Cute.
of clay and like glazed them because I had access to a kiln. But since moving, I don't. So I haven't really done like pottery on a wheel. I've only done hand building, which I really like hand building. But I was like, oh, I'll go take a wheel class and then like scope out that's actually how I met Melanie. I don't actually know her. I met her on Instagram because
Oh.
someone that I know who's a clay artist shared something of hers, and then I went to her page and was like, you're cool. Let's be friends. And here
It
we
is
are.
amazing. I'm so
Yeah.
glad she wasn't able to hop on tonight. She's
Yeah.
so-
We have all these
Love
plans for
having her.
when we meet in person.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I can already see it now.
Yes, I can. You remind me of her a little bit too.
Totally.
It's cute.
That's funny.
Totally. Yeah.
We'll send her the recording, and she will realize she was brought up a few times on this.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mel, we love you. It's because
Maybe she'll be able to answer my kiln question.
Maybe.
Definitely.
She used to be there at the middle, I think.
Oh yeah, she used to work at that place that you were gonna go to, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There, yeah, she would totally know. She would probably even know like the person to ask if you wanted to just go there without the COVID. You know what I mean? Like
No COVID police.
yeah,
I'd like to go anywhere without COVID right now.
Well, ladies, I really appreciate tonight, and thank you for taking the time out of your night to come chat about the book. I loved that first chapter. I stopped at chapter 3. Like I haven't read chapter 3, but I've already read chapter 2. And if you haven't yet, it's really freaking good. And honestly, it was just like everything I needed to hear last week. Like I was in a really bad mindset last week, and it really helped me like pull myself out of the slump that I felt like I was in. So
Chapter 2 did?
Pardon?
Chapter 2 did?
Chapter 2 did, yeah.
I've been purposely waiting. I read like 5 books at a time, but I've been purposely waiting to read it so that I don't forget.
Oh, well, go read it. You guys will love. It's really good. It's a really good chapter. It's one actually where everyone is at right now. It will help all of you. It's just really a lot about the stuff that.
Ooh, the universe has your back.
Yes, and that's sorry that I sort of brought that up tonight, but I already think that way. It's not just because I read chapter 2. That's already how I feel.
That is awesome. I am also was I just pointing down at my sorry. I love that we all got together and discussed that, and I feel like I've learned a lot about everybody tonight, which is also one of my favorite things is meeting new people and learning about new people. So
Me too.
That's exciting. I can't wait to see who's able to jump on next week. And then if there's anything that you guys think that maybe we could tweak for next meeting, then just put it in the chat, Corley. I don't know if that went well or if that was long or
yeah, Corley, how did we do?
I mean, I haven't done an online book club before.
How long are the meetings usually when you would meet like in person or?
That usually depends on the amount of alcohol involved and the time of day we start.
See, this is so upsetting because we should be drinking at the same time.
I mean,
like you guys
well, almost all of us.
If you want to.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to, well, in 2 months when I am able to drink, we'll have to have another book club.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping to keep doing it. Like, I think that it'd be cool to just like next time figure out a new book, maybe like switch gears a little bit and find a different style of book, but still sort of personal development wise, and do another one and open it to whoever. But I think it's fun. It was super nice to have you guys on this train with me, the whole like Fear is my homeboy train. So I'm hoping you're loving it just as much as I am, because I'm really enjoying it. It's a nice and light read, you know what I mean? She's got some good humor. She's got some, I loved her little like improv thing where he kind of had to like go on the stage and he lost his notes and he was like, oh my gosh, and I'm just gonna wing it. I'm like, that is totally me. I've totally been there before, right? So I've definitely, like the other day, you guys, I went live and did a freaking sample workout to like a Zumba style program.
I saw that, but it was so enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, it was.
Honestly, it was 25 minutes long, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna watch this all, but then I just could not stop watching you dance.
Yeah.
Watch you dance straight to the very end.
So embarrassed. I watched it after. I'm like, should I delete that? Like that's where like the fear gets in your head, right? Yeah. Easily. Like I watched it back and I was like, I feel like I look kind of stupid, so should I delete that?
You were really cute, and you were like, Alan, I know you're looking at me funny, but I'm having fun, so. I don't care. That's all that matters. Like, I love her.
So funny. Well, thank you guys so much. Does anyone else have anything they want to share before I'm going to just stop the recording here? No? We're good? Sweet. We'll stop that.